world, proud Ghanaian son of the land, taking his music beyond our shores, beyond Africa, sharing his gift with the rest of the world. We'll be sitting down with him in the latter part of the program, and we'll try to understand him a little better. So you would want to stay on GTV. This is GTV Breakfast. For now, we are talking businesses, and like we said at the beginning of the show, there are many of you who are out there trying to make an alternative source of living, which would later become the main source of livelihood for some of you. So every company has its own outline of actions and decisions taken each year to improve business or to adjust to the current business trends. And 2022 had its own ups and downs, goodies and challenges. But the global economic crisis made matters quite unbearable for some businesses. In the studio to help us prepare to navigate the turbulent business environment so that our businesses can survive in 2023 and beyond, and to give us more insight into the business environment, Mr. Daniel Sapong Jr. He's a global sales and marketing consultant with Arcade Consult and executive training with the Global Partnerships Group as well. Daniel, good morning. Welcome. Merry Christmas. How are you doing?
Good morning. Merry Christmas. I'm doing amazing this morning.
I'm glad you were able to make it, because I'm reading your profile now. So a little insight into who Daniel is. A highly sought after global sales and marketing coach, rich experience in the field of digital strategy, client relationship management, project management, and managing operations. He's a mindset transformation coach and a globally celebrated author of 2 revolutionary books. He's trained hundreds of thousands of business owners, entrepreneurs, youth and business executives from over 20 countries across the globe, which has led to amazing and glaring results in sales revenues from trainees. So I just want to give you an idea of the scope of his experience, so that when you send your messages to us asking for his advice, as you seek to set your business on a pedestal, on a springboard in 2023, you know exactly what to ask him. Our WhatsApp number 05555 Start sending your questions to him now. Daniel, it's been ups and downs for 2022 for many businesses. What would you say have been the most significant challenges for small businesses that are trying to break out?
Okay, based on some of the sessions I've had with a lot of businesses this year, I think 2 of the major problems that most of the business have they've basically talked about. One was basically resources, basically financing their businesses to grow in these challenging times, especially businesses that don't have strong financial standings. And another one has basically been being able to get more clients in terms of sales, because one of the complaints I've had from most of the business I've dealt with in 2022 is that they don't get people to buy a lot of their products. These have been, I would say, the 2 most challenging that I've come across.
It sounds like both challenges are money related.
Yes.
Because finding money, raising the capital to even invest in the business is critical for some.
Yes.
Would you advise someone takes a loan, for example, to do that?
Okay. There's no one straight answer to taking a loan to start a business. Because one thing I want people to understand is that a loan is not a free money. You would have to pay that principal with interest. So before you ever decide to take a loan, there are these things I would want you to consider. The first thing is that, can you afford the loan? That is, can you afford paying the principal? Can you afford paying the interest? And the repayment process and all that, is it something that your business can take care of? And if there are any extra fees that come with the loan, you have to consider all these things before you ever decide to take a loan. Another thing I would want you to also consider is that, can your business, do you have a particular business plan, a particular strategy, something you have tried, or even if you have not tried before, you have experts and consultants who have the idea and know that within this 3 months or 1 year or 5 years, your business can pay back this amount of money. Because one thing I have realized is that when people want to just start any business or anything, the first thing they think about is loan. But you have not started anything before. because there are a lot of things you have to learn. You may have to fail a lot of times in different things to get a broad perspective of even starting a business, your business plan, your marketing communication plan. So if you've not done any of these before and you just decide to take a loan to start a business, maybe you have some consultants or advisors, then that's totally fine. but you don't have any of these things, and you just believe. So taking a loan is just
of faith.
Yeah. So
you have faith, you have hope that perhaps it
you
will.
have hope, but hope is not a strategy. That's one thing I always tell people. Hope is not a strategy. And you talked about faith. Faith comes with actions. You must have the backing knowledge, market research, and all that, so that you are very sure. Because Thelma, when it's time to pay the loan and you don't have that money, faith, you'll be very, very hot. So that's another thing you also have to consider. The third thing I would also want you to consider is that, are there other options?
Are there
other options? Yes, instead of taking the loan. Is there any grant that you can have access to? Because this year, from 2020 till now, there has been a couple of initiatives by the government to release funding for businesses. Some are loans, some are grants, literally. So are these things, can you take advantage of things like these? Because if it's a grant, they know that you're not paying for it. Or could you take advantage of maybe some investment? Maybe an organization providing some investment for this. I don't know what it is, but explore all these options. Or maybe you have a rich uncle somewhere, or you have a couple of friends. You can bring together 10 of your friends and then take some money from them, or 20 of your friends. And are there other options such that you're not paying a lot of interest on these loans? Because if it's family, or if there's possibly no interest. So consider all these opportunities and all these options first. And if you're able to consider all these things, you're sure you have a good business plan, you're sure that your business can pay back this loan, then you make your call, or you make the call, basically.
And then go get the money and finance it.
Exactly.
So then we come to the second point you made about getting more clients and then improving or increasing sales.
Yeah.
What are the best ways to do that? Now with social media, it's easier to get access to people you would ordinarily not have had access to, even beyond where the business is strategically located. So how do you begin to weaponize, or how do you begin to monetize those opportunities?
Okay, thank you so much for this question. One thing I have realized for most business owners and entrepreneurs across the world, doing training for them, is that most people have a great business, have a great product, but they really don't have a marketing communication plan. So most often we start something and then we don't even know the kind of people we are trying to sell to. So then you are confused. And one thing I always tell people is that if your business is for everyone, then your business is for no one. If your business is for every single person, and your marketing communication plan or strategy, that's even if you have one, is for every single person, then your business and your marketing communication plan and strategy speaks to no one. So so that's one thing, one very, very critical thing that for every entrepreneur I work with, I help them. You have to develop your customer avatars, your buyer personas. Who does your ideal client look like? Or if they are a range of products, who do they look like? You must find all these groups of people and develop a marketing communication plan for each of them. So, for example, I can have a product for a young person, maybe in his teenage years, and that same product is for maybe a nursing mother. Even though it's the same product, when I am communicating the value or the unique value proposition, or what I mean is what benefit do you get from this product or service? When I'm communicating to the young person, what I'm going to talk about is totally different to what I'm talking to that nursing mother. So that until that marketing communication resonates with the person and the person realizes that, oh, I think I need this, then you're literally talking to no one. So even to start with sales, to start with social media, the first thing I want to talk about, your target market, your marketing communication plan and marketing communication strategy. Now that you have these, now let's find out, where can we find these people? So if, for example, I'm looking for business owners and business executives, it's the same product. Business owners and business executives. I'll rather go for more business conferences, or maybe or possibly on LinkedIn if I'm talking about social media. But if I'm trying to target the youth, I'll go to TikTok, get a couple of micro influencers to send that message on TikTok for that particular group of people. So people are basically confused with social media, and people are confused with the strategy or the plan to get the right people to them, because they think that it's social media, so let me just do anything anyhow. It's good to have a multiple marketing mix, doing different platforms and all that. But why are you doing it? Which people are you targeting? Which people are where you are? And what are you telling them? These things are very, very, very important.
I mean, it sounds like a fascinating conversation because you hear all these things about setting up businesses, and now it turns out that for a young entrepreneur, you have to be multi-skilled in content creation even to stand a chance of winning at the social media game, because it's all about the numbers, and the following also it influences your reach. So for that business person who is just starting out, who does not have the numbers, who does not have the name recognition, where do they begin?
Okay, I love what you said about you have to learn how to create content and all of that. I mean, content is basically, kin, what you are trying to communicate, whether it's an image, whether it's a text, whether it's a video, or whatever. It's kin. Content is what carries your messaging to the right people to pull in the sales into your business. So it's more like the transporting vehicle. Now, if you are starting out, you don't know anyone, you don't have the numbers and all that, there is a word called leverage. Leverage, number one, leverage your friends, your colleagues, people that you know that can possibly support you with that particular business. So maybe you have a particular friend who is possibly trending. You can have a particular deal with that friend. It doesn't necessarily have to be free, because sometimes when it becomes free, it also becomes a bit of a bother to, I worked hard to get my numbers, and just because you're a friend, you want to, so it can be a relationship. You can, based on the relationship, that can do, or products too can do, or a particular leverage in terms of affiliate, in terms of marketing. So if based on your brand we are able to get these numbers in, I'll give you a particular percentage of this. There are different ways to go about this, but leverage on the people you know, leverage also on the people you don't know. Put together a particular marketing budget with 200 CDs, 500 CDs, 1,000 CDs. You should be able to get not macro influencers like very big influencers, but micro influencers who have very good numbers. You should be able to get them with some very good budget as well. So leverage on that, and also leverage on sponsored ads. That is running ads across social media channels with focused targeting. So the interesting thing, Thelma, about social media, I can literally, if I have a particular brand product which I want to sell in around GTV, I can target it and project it in such a way that any single person who passes around GTV will see my ad. Or any man between the ages of 18 and 34 who passes by GTV should see this ad. Or maybe anybody who got into Ghana within the last 3 months who gets around GTV should see my ad. So it gives you all these opportunities that you can tap into as a very small business.
Listen, let me quickly update on what we've talked about so far so that you can structure your questions, and I'll take a few of them. So Daniel here is a global sales and marketing consultant. He's trying to give us ideas about how we can strategize so our businesses can be more successful and viable in 2023. Hope is not a strategy, it's a key thing I'm taking from this conversation. And he says that faith comes with action. So pray, but don't expect that the prayer will do the job for you. If you're a startup, leverage your relationships with your friends. They can help invest in your business. Consider using influencers, micro influencers, if you can afford the big brand names. Consider advertising your product, so paying for your products to be advertised on several platforms. Your platform itself is important, but even before you consider all these things, you need to have a business plan which would influence what you want to do, and make sure that your business plan can get the finances it deserves, not necessarily a loan. It could get a grant, and that could very well set you up to be on your way. So that's what we're talking about. That's what we've said so far. Content creation, very important. Content being the transporting vehicle for your product or your service. What are your questions? 05555 61034, and I will take a few of them when I can. So, Danny, let's assume that you've put all these structures in place, and because of the crunch, because of the economy, and because of inflation and the dollar and the cedi and everything, it's not doing as well. What do you do?
Okay, so I'll possibly give out some few things that businesses can do to stay afloat during a crisis. I've done a bit of study about even the recession in 2008, and I've come up with some few things that businesses can do. The first thing is you possibly want to look at your costs. Want to look at your expenses. You want to do a deep review, a deep dive into the past maybe 5 years, the past 3 years, the past maybe 12 months of the business. what has been taken out of your expenses? Are there any alternatives? Is there anything you can do? For example, one thing that most of the businesses that I've consulted for this year is that is there a possibility that some of your staff can work remotely some of the days, and definitely when I do that, I give them systems and tools that they can use to monitor and ensure that work is being done. What this does is that it helps them cut down a lot of costs, especially if they are providing food for the staff, electricity, water, and all that. All these things may seem minute, but strategically it goes a long way to help their organization. Can you negotiate better with your suppliers so that they give you maybe some good discounts, maybe by buying in bulk, or even managing your cash flow by increasing the working on the payment terms with your suppliers? These are all these things. These are some things that you can do basically during this period to stay afloat. Another thing I would want businesses to also do is that sometimes businesses are rigid and not flexible. When you are rigid, you are not malleable, and when you're not malleable, any little pressure can break you. So you must be very flexible and malleable in this period. If there is any changes you can make in your business model, if there are any changes you can make in your operations, do well to do that. A business must learn to adapt, because the only thing that is not constant, or the only thing that is constant basically, is change. So even forget about the economic crisis, whatever, recession, whatever, no matter what you do, as long as you are in business, in fact, as long as you are a being on this earth, change is inevitable. So as a human being, you must be very, very, very flexible and adaptable to changes in the environment, changes in the economy, and all that. So that's another thing. And the third thing is empower your team. Empower your team. I have come across teams that seem lazy, but people that seem lazy in their jobs, but became high performance because of training. You see, one of the mistakes that business owners make is that sometimes we believe that by the mere fact of employing someone who was qualified for the job, we have no extra responsibility to equip them to perform better in their role or in their job. True story. Earlier this year, there's a fashion brand that I trained her and her team. Now, I trained her and the team. They've been doing quite well already. But after training them, within 3 months, they increased their sales by 60%. Now, this lady called Matilda called me back to come and train her team on how they can now manage the clients that are coming in, because that is too much that they could bear. Now, the difference here wasn't necessarily an increase in investments. The difference wasn't bringing in more stuff into their fashion brand. The difference now was that their team were now equipped and empowered to perform on a high productivity level. So I always tell people that the fact that someone is performing good doesn't mean it's their optimum performance.
Can always do better.
They can always do better. But sometimes they are lost within the business operations and need a consultant or an expert to come and show them, oh, this is where to pass. This is how to do it. This is how to say it. That is all you need. So empower your team, invest in your team, corporate training, sales training, marketing training, digital skills training. And that's actually what I do for most brands across the world.
And I'll get you to share maybe your contact or your social media handles with us in a little while,
okay,
so that if there is any way you can help someone out there watching us, then they may be able to get in touch with you. Daniel Sapong is a global sales and marketing consultant. Our WhatsApp number is 05555610034. We'll take some quick questions before we wrap with Daniel. CAF is getting ready at the screen. Now, remember that your messages are your thoughts and not the thoughts of GBC. We just want to educate. All right? CAF.
Nice one, Danny. What's up?
Yeah, I'm good, brother.
love it. Love the vibe. Good morning. Love your guest and his presentation. He speaks practicality, and that's what all businesses need. I'm a startup in tech and already into football management and farming, and would like to connect to him so the connecting will happen. Hey, love your hair. That's what he's saying, or she's saying. Can he throw a bit of light on crowdfunding, the advantages and disadvantages if there are? So crowdfunding is the issue.
Okay.
And he wants your contact later on. Zukilfu says, good morning. This is Abdullah Zukilfu from Tamale. I love the show. I'm having a small electrical store, and it's like the business is going down. I want to know how to do so that the money will not collapse.
Okay.
So that's a good one there. So this is 2 messages here.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. So basically, those are the 2 messages that you want to. So crowdfunding, and then how to
Saving
how
a
to
dying
save
business.
his little electrical store from
Right.
collapsing.
Thank you, Kaf. We'll look forward to your sit down with King Ayisoba a bit later. You're still watching Breakfast Live on GTV. Daniel, crowdfunding. We've talked about sources of financing. We've talked about how we can look into the possibility of getting a grant so that we don't have to pay it back, or to ask friends to help us and support. But crowdfunding, explain to us for the benefit of those who do not know exactly what that is and how you can use that to help your business grow.
Okay. So in summary, crowdfunding is basically getting people you know or don't know to put together a fund to support a particular cause, whether a project, whether a business, and all of that. Sometimes the crowdfunding can be a form of a donation. Sometimes it comes with its own obligations as well. I would want to deal with the crowdfunding that I have dealt with, something I have more experience with, even though I have a broader perspective on crowdfunding. Now, one of the ways to do crowdfunding, especially with your people you know, especially people that believe in you, believe in what you're doing, and have a very good relationship with. Now, you want to put together a business plan. Not just a business plan you just sat down and came up with, but something at least you have tried before, because these are your relationships that you are putting on the line. If something goes extremely bad, you may lose your relationships. And just so you know, relationship is a currency. You can use a relationship to buy things. That's just by the way. So you want to put together, this is exactly what I'm trying to do. This is what I have done so far. These were the results. These were the failures. I mean, you can put together a SWOT analysis. These are the strengths. These are the weaknesses. These are the opportunities. These are the threats. So far, this is how far I have been able to go with my own investment, with what I have put in. And based on the statistics, or based on the data, or based on the insight, if I get X amount of money, this is how much we should be able to do with this business.
So don't go empty-handed.
No, don't go empty-handed.
Have something in hand and then make your pitch.
Exactly.
So that you can get the support that
exactly.
you need. What if you've tried all these things, and I wish we had more time because I would have had opportunities to ask you about stuff, but someone wanted to know, if you've tried stuff and it just has not worked, the business is going down, do you just give up? What do you do?
Okay, there are different things you can do, but the gentleman who said that, one of the first things I would want us to know is that sales is not necessarily the only thing that makes businesses grow. It's not just about sales, but it's about client relationship management. Now, selling a lot is just like running fast, but selling without client relationship management is running fast in circles. So there's activity, but you're not moving forward. So the people that have bought from you in the last 5 years, in the last 10 years, in the last 2 years, do you even remember them? Do you try to reach out to them? Because you're looking for a new sale. I always give this practical example, and I want to give this before we end. If we have two brands who have the same investments, they have the same product, they have the same sales team, the potential is everything. Let's do that assumption. One of them retains their client and the other doesn't. Now, in the first year, they will literally all make the same revenue or sales. But in the next year, just because brand A retained their clients for next year, they are likely to make 2x more than the second brand, who also now just went for totally new people and didn't retain the people for the past year.
Daniel, your handles quickly before we wrap. How do we
Okay, so you can reach me out on LinkedIn, Daniel Sapon Jr. On Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Daniel_Sapon7. Daniel_Sapon7. And you can also check out my website, www.danielsapon.com. www.danielsapon.com, or reach out to my executive office if you need a training for your team or you need a bit of consultancy on 0555 778727. 0555 778727.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
your morning with us. We hope that people have learned a lot. I've definitely learned a lot from just sitting and talking to you. Daniel Sapon Jr. is a global sales and marketing consultant, and you can get in touch with him via LinkedIn on his LinkedIn page, Daniel Sapon Jr. And you can also get in touch with him on his website, www.danielsapon.com, and he will help you with a strategy and the training that your business or your workers require to keep your business afloat in 2023. Daniel, thank you, and a happy new year to you in advance.
So much, Thelma.
So thank you to all of you who have watched The Breakfast Show. since we started. It's been an amazing journey. But if you haven't watched GTV this whole weekend, I don't know if you've been hiding under a rock. You've missed out on quite a bit. Kaf and I have had just a swell time. Yesterday we didn't see us on air, but we're all just here jiving and jiving. And the engagement across social media has been crazy.
Yes.
Because our comedians were here on Monday, just when we came out of the whole Home Alone on GTV, right? And then we had these guys. They came and made the band singers unemployed.
No, they backed them really nicely. And there were a lot of comments. So they played some SDA songs, which got everybody just agog.
Moving.
Yeah,
and
the comments. So Kwesi Menka says, they kill it, clap for them. Awimbe Adigi says, I sang the song effortlessly. The old gospel songs hit differently.
It's old but gold.
I'm telling you. Afrifa Jonas says, hey, Obio Mponsan is a national treasure. God bless you, brother. Onyamiba N said, I think Foster Romanos had the perfect voice for the song.
Oh, he killed the Samini ones.
Charlie.
Totally.
SDA songs, the best. Let me join the dance. Amazing band. Those guys nailed the song. It's the Arc band, by the way. The unity amongst the comedians is what does it for me. Their singing was also good too.
Yeah.
So we're going to tell you, show you what they did that caused a lot of engagement on social media. It wasn't even funny at all. So check out the performance that went down last Monday, Boxing Day. The comedians took over the whole show. And check out
sharing, keep sharing. It's GTV Ghana. That's what you need to follow. Keep sharing it. Continue. Have a look.
All right.
I get you.